Hello, this is the second day of Reader's Workshop this week. So today we will be focusing on something else that we were working on before we went on spring break, and that's authors have intentions, so pay attention. Okay, so when you're reading a story, you should think about why the author wrote the story. Writing a story, as we know, is really hard work. It's not easy at all because when we do writing, a lot of times it's very difficult, even for me, to write a story. So if you're an author, I can't imagine having to write a whole long story for no reason. Okay, there's always a reason why someone is writing a story. So we already worked on asking how did this author make the whole book click together? So if the story is really long, how did it make sense? What happened in the beginning? And how did that make something happen in the middle? And then how did that get fixed in the end? Then we need to notice, stop, and think. What part is powerful? Why is it powerful? And how did the author do it? So we need to be thinking what part of the story was really powerful or meaningful. And then today we'll be working on learn a lesson. Think, what does the author want to teach me? So a lot of stories have lessons, things that the author wants us to learn. So today we're going to be figuring out a lesson in this story. But first, I want to read you our teaching point, okay? There's something else I need to tell you. Authors don't just write to entertain us. They don't just write stories and say, nice story. Authors often write to help us think about big ideas and to teach us important lessons. Today, I want to teach you that once readers have finished a story and understand how the parts click together, they know it's important to think, what does the author want to teach me? So when you finish a story, think about that. Why did the author write the story? What are they trying to teach me? Okay, so now I'm going to read you this story by Dr. Seuss, and we'll talk about what the author is trying to teach us, okay? This story is called Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss, and this is one of my favorite Dr. Seuss stories, so I'm excited to read it to you, okay? Oh, the places you'll go. So think in your brain, how did the whole author make the whole book go together? What part is powerful? Why is it powerful? And how did the author do it? And then what is the lesson that Dr. Seuss is trying to teach us? Okay, he's not just writing this book because he wanted to make a book with funny and beautiful pictures. That doesn't make sense, right? What is he trying to teach us? Oh, the places you'll go. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the guy who will decide where to go. You'll look up and down streets, look them over with care. About some you will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not so good street. And you may not find any you'll want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. So maybe right here, Dr. Seuss is trying to teach us that some roads are not safe roads, right? They're dangerous roads. So if the boy went down over here instead, then he probably would have gotten hurt. So that's what I think Dr. Seuss is trying to teach us. It's opener there in the wide open air. Out there, things can happen and frequently do to people as brainy and footsy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along. You'll start happening too. Oh, the places you'll go. You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar to high heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang and you'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. I love this page, so beautiful. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say so, but sadly it's true that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in that prickly perch, and your gang will fly on and you'll be left in a lurch. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump, and then chances are then that you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. You will come to a place where the streets are not marked. Some windows are lighted, but mostly they're dark. A place you could sprain both your elbow and chin. Do you dare to stay out? Do you dare to go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? And if you go in, should you turn left or right in 3/4, or maybe not quite, or go around back and sneak in from behind? Simple it's not, I'm afraid you will find, for a mind maker upper to make up his mind. You can get so confused that you'll start into race down a long wiggled roads at a breaknecking pace, and grind on for miles across weirdest wild space, headed, I fear, toward a most useless place, the waiting place. For people just waiting for the train to go, or the bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone is just waiting for the fish to bite, or waiting for the wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for a Friday night, or waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a better break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is just waiting. No, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You'll find the bright places where boom bands are playing. With banner flip flapping, once more you'll ride hide, ready for anything under the sky, ready because you're that kind of guy. Oh, the places you'll go, there is fun to be done, there are points to be scored, there are games to be won, and the magical things you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame, you'll be famous, as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV. So sometimes maybe he's teaching you that things just go your way. Everything feels happy, and you're in a good mood, and you did really well at school, and you won your soccer game, and everything is great, right? So sometimes life is like that, and it's great. And sometimes it's not. Except when they don't, because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too. Games you can't win because you'll play against you. All alone, whether you like it or not, all alone is something you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on. But on you will go, though the weather be foul. On you will go, though the enemies prowl. And prowl means like walk around, kind of creep. On you will go through the heck and cracks howl. Onward up many a frightening creek, though your arms may get sore and your sneakers may leak. So that means even if things are hard, you're still going to try your best. So maybe you're reading a hard book and you are struggling, but you should still try your best because I know you can do it. On and on you will hike, and I know you'll hike far and face up to your problems, whatever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with so many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with care and great tact. And remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. And the author is just saying that you can change the world and make good choices. So, be your name Bexam or Brixby or Bray or Monakai, Ali, Van Allen, O'Shea. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So go get on your way. That's the end of the story. So I want you to think in your brain, or out loud, I guess, if you're in your room by yourself. What do you think Dr. Seuss was trying to teach us? What lesson do you think he was trying to teach us? So I'm going to give you a second. Just think in your brain, and I'm going to think in my brain. You're thinking? Think harder. 10 more seconds. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What did he teach us? I think. Can I tell you what I think? Is that okay with you? What I think he was trying to teach us is that even though sometimes we have bad days, and you might have bad days more now because you're not going to school and you might be bored at home, but sometimes we'll have bad days, and that's okay, right? You can just because you have bad days doesn't mean that you won't have good days after. So I think he's trying to teach us that even on our bad days, we can still try to have a good day and still try and be happy and still try to make the world better. Okay? Is that what you thought too? I wish I could hear what you're thinking. So, that is what lesson that I think he was trying to teach us in that book. And now, I know you all know this book, right? Green Eggs and Ham. The lesson of this book is don't say you don't like something until you try it, right? So if mom or dad makes you a new food or a new dish or a new meal and you're like, ew, it looks gross, but you haven't even tried it, you don't know if you won't like it. So it's about trying new things, okay? So a lot of books that you're reading at home have lessons. So I want you to be thinking about that today. So before you go off and read, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick a book that's different. Hopefully it's different. If you don't have any books at home that are different, that's okay. But pick a different book than you read the other day. And what I want you to do is read the story and then think about what lesson does the author want to teach me? What lesson? And then I want you to go find someone in your house, your mom or your dad or your brother or sister, grandma and grandpa, your stuffed animal, someone in your house, your pet dog. That would be a great option. I could go tell my dog right now. about the lesson in the story, whoever is at home, and tell them what the lesson was. So bring the book to them and say, hey, so and so, hey, Mr. Doggy, here's the lesson of this story. Okay, so tell them what the lesson was. Okay, and remember, you need to be reading for at least 30 minutes. So find a good spot that you won't be distracted, just like at school. And you could get a big pile of books, and you could set them down next to you if you sit on the floor or at a table or on your bed, and you set them down and you read for 30 minutes, and then you go find someone to tell. Okay? You can do it. I'm proud of you. You're capable. And I know you'll do a good job. And I can't wait to hear about what you've been reading. Okay? Good luck. You can do it.